talk. Over the past 10 years, Miss Cassidy has been engaged in a journey into Lithuania past and present. She began with her personal family story and then explored how Lithuanians today are encountering their 20th century history, especially the Holocaust. Her book, We Are Here, Memories of Lithuanian Holocaust, has been translated into Lithuanian and was published by Media Incognito this month. Ellen is traveling throughout the country for 2 weeks to talk about the book. Please welcome Ellen Cassidy.
All right, so my grandfather, this one, came to America from Lithuania in 1911 when he was 19 years old. And I think in this picture he was probably about 16 years old because he has a little mustache and I don't think he has begun to shave yet. So about 16. Now this is my Jewish grandfather on my mother's side of the family. My mother had spoken Yiddish, the Jewish everyday language, just a little bit. One word here, one word there. But when she died, I missed Yiddish. And when I heard about a summer institute in Yiddish at Vilnius University, I wanted to go. Now, at that time, I barely knew where Lithuania was. I had to get an atlas to look, where is Lithuania? But what I did know about Lithuania was some very painful facts. I knew that in 1941, when the German army invaded Lithuania, the Jews of Lithuania were killed very quickly. I knew that in most cases it was German officials who gave the orders, but in most cases it was Lithuanian men who actually did the killing. I knew that hundreds of Lithuanian towns have a pit, a hole in the forest where Jews were shot and buried. And I knew that in the three major Lithuanian cities of Vilnius, Kaunas, and Šiauliai, tens of thousands of Jews were confined in ghettos. And by the end of the war, only 6% of Lithuania's 240,000 Jews remained alive. One of them was my uncle Wolf. Before I came to Lithuania, I went to see my uncle in New York, and I showed him some maps that I had downloaded from the internet. My uncle was 87 years old, but he could still put his finger on exactly where he lived in Rokiškis, in Šiauliai, where he went to school, and where he was in the ghetto in Šiauliai before he was sent to Dachau, a concentration camp in Germany. So I came to Vilnius, and my feelings were complicated. Lithuania was a place where Jews lived for 7 centuries, and Jewish culture flourished, a wonderful place. But it was also a place where Jews were killed, a terrible place. So in the mornings at the Yiddish Institute, we studied Yiddish language and literature, which was wonderful. And in the afternoon, the last Yiddish speakers of Vilnius, these women who were 80 years old, walked us through the streets of this beautiful city. And we learned that Jews came to Lithuania in the 13th or 14th century. And Jews called Lithuania Lita, L-I-T-E. And it included Lithuania, Belarus, Latvia, parts of Poland, Western Russia. And Jews from Lithuania were called Litvaks or Litvakis. By the 18th century, Vilnius had become a center of religious teaching with the leader, the Vilna Gaon, which means very smart genius. And here you see the great synagogue where the Gaon used to teach. Early in the 20th century, Vilnius became the center of where Zionism began, the movement that told Jews to move to Israel, to Palestine. And at the same time, another movement told Jews, stay here and fight for the rights of Jewish workers. So between 1940 and 1952, historians say that Lithuania lost 700,000 people. Executions, war deaths, massacres, and emigration. And that's out of a population of less than 3 million people. That's a huge disruption of society. During the Soviet era, Jews were not allowed to express their culture. And when emigration was allowed in the 60s and 70s, most Lithuanian Jews chose to leave for Israel and the West. Today, only 4,000 Jews live in Lithuania. But in 1991, when Lithuania became independent, people began to open up the history of Lithuania and the history of the Jews. And I found this very interesting. And I was lucky to meet brave people who were working to help bring the Jewish past out of the darkness and help Jews and non-Jews talk to each other about the past, even when it's painful. And these people surprised me, they educated me, and they inspired me. So let me show you 3 examples. This is Irena Vesaita. She's an amazing woman, a Jewish woman, and a leader of tolerance. She lives in Vilnius. At the age of 15, Irena went into the Kaunas ghetto without her mother or her father, all alone. And after 2 years, Lithuanian friends helped her to escape from the ghetto. What is tolerance? Irena says tolerance is a permissive or liberal attitude toward beliefs that are different from your own. But she adds another concept, the non-acceptance of intolerance. So the intolerance of intolerance. Not easy concepts. I talked to this woman, Ruta Puishita. Her job was to run a traveling exhibit for the Jewish Museum. And she would get in a truck and drive to Lithuanian towns and villages, jump out and set up an exhibit about 7 centuries of Jewish life. She told me that for many people, the word Holocaust is new. Most people have never met a Jew. I went to Rokiškis, and this is where my family lived for many generations. And I saw the wooden houses and the flowers, and I walked down the street that is still called Synagogue Street. This is where my great-grandfather used to read the holy books.
Do you think that after the Holocaust has been widely discussed all over the world, another genocide that major may happen somewhere in this planet?
I hope not.
Thank you for this nice meeting.
Thank you.
And
Really
we'd like
a
to give you some gifts for your
Thank you.
and bring to an embassy. And we promise to come to visit you. Okay?